Every time I arrive on campus, my heart beats more quickly. Far beyond the impressive architecture, the trappings of privilege, and the latest intellectual and artistic achievements is the sense that I am taking a journey of discovery and adventure with each of you. We are guided by Yale's collection of resources that reflect the creative work of civilization. Colleagues who came before us and in all areas of study for more than 3 centuries searched for truth and light. Transcendent values eclipse time, place, and personality. The core values of great institutions, and tonight in particular Yale, are transcendent. Great music is transcendent, touching us centuries after a composer filled a blank page with notes. When a small group of New England ministers gathered in 1701 to organize a new collegiate school that would become Yale College, they sang a hymn. You will sing that hymn at commencement, as centuries of Yale students and graduates have done. Today, it is a symbol of music's transcendent legacy at Yale. But transcendent qualities are born and nurtured by people. Yale University and the School of Music are a collection of voices, a community and society of mutual learners. We, along with our predecessors, came here to better prepare ourselves to repair the world. It may surprise some of you to know that when the Yale Corporation voted to establish a School of Music in 1894, they also approved a Bachelor of Music degree that was opened to women and men. Now, cynics might say that not offering a Bachelor of Arts in Music retained the exclusivity of Yale College as a male enclave. But I find it a lot more interesting and compelling that music was Yale's very first commitment to diversity and inclusivity. Tonight, very briefly, I want to acquaint you with just a few voices, a few transcendent voices, only from the Yale School of Music, not to mention the wide path and spectrum of music that occurs here in this university. First, I want to introduce you to one of America's first female philanthropists, Ellen Battelle Steckel. Ellen continued her late father's practice of bringing music to their Norfolk estate. Married to Carl Steckel, who was awarded the first Doctor of Music degree at Yale, their union was one that endowed the early study of music at Yale. It was Dr. Steckel's stirring defense of music to the University Curriculum Committee in 1890 that actually led to the establishment of this school in 1894. Ellen and Carl were passionate advocates of music with transcendent actions, their chief action being the bequest of their estate in Norfolk to Yale for the use of our school for a summer school of music and later art. One of the schools, and certainly the university's first female and African American graduates was Helen Hagen. Helen was from New Haven, majored in piano, and while at Yale composed a concerto and performed it with the New Haven Symphony. She traveled to Europe to entertain America's troops in World War I. And now this incredible woman, this courageous woman and wonderful musician, lies in an unmarked grave here in this city. Later this month, we will celebrate her life and legacy and appropriately mark her resting place. Is the name Toscanini familiar to you? Elaine Toscanini was a voice major at the Yale School of Music in the 1950s. Her love of Yale and devotion to this school led to our acquisition of the Horowitz Archive, courtesy of Wanda Toscanini Horowitz, his wife. Elaine and her husband, though, did more. They planned for their own gift that would endow a voice scholarship as well. Then another voice, another time. A young student from Brazil arrives at Yale in 1946 and works in the dining hall and in the dormitories so that he can pay his tuition bill. After an internationally celebrated career as a cellist, he returns to the faculty in 1958 and today is the university's longest-serving faculty member. Meet Professor Aldo Paraso, whose students perform all over this globe. Most of you know Willie Ruff, our esteemed colleague whose retirement was announced yesterday. He served as a famous Tuskegee Airman and came to Yale to study with Paul Hindemith. He came because he heard Charlie Parker say, the only person I could learn anything from is Paul Hindemith. He's at Yale. So Willie said, that's good enough for me. I'll go to Yale. That is a true story. His performance and scholarship firmly planted the study of jazz in the School of Music. And I must note that Willie and his late musical partner, pianist Dwight Mitchell, were among the first American jazz artists to tour both China and Russia. So that he could communicate more effectively, Willie learned Mandarin and Russian so he could speak to the audiences and work with the students. Transcendent music and voices. In 1958, the School of Music became a graduate professional school at Yale. The Bachelor of Music degree was eliminated since only graduate students were to be enrolled. In the following 2 decades, the faculty was populated with celebrated artists from all corners of the globe. And by the mid-1970s, 40% of the student body came to the Yale School of Music from foreign countries, a practice that continues to this day. We have always believed in welcoming people to this school. The transition to a professional graduate school resounds with new voices. Among Yale's earliest Doctor of Musical Arts recipients are Joseph Polisi, president of the Juilliard School, bassoonist; Ronald Crutcher, president of the University of Richmond, cello; K. George Roberts, a distinguished conductor; David Lang and Christopher Theophanidis in composition. Doctors Crutcher and Roberts are among the first African Americans to have earned Yale's Doctor of Musical Arts degrees. Transcendent voices carry our values forward from the past into the present and to the future through our work. The aforementioned School of Music graduates are a minute sampling, ever so small, and certainly not a broad perspective of music's transcendency, both in the school and at Yale. But just for a moment, I want to remind us of the smaller voices that hold vital but different status. Voices that are no less important and perhaps even more important to transforming life in their community. From private teachers to part-time church organists, to community course members, to small private college or large public university professors. These transcendent musical voices of Yale and their cultural leadership transform lives, enrich communities, and bring hope to a broken world. Why is this? Why is this? It is because in this place, the boundless gifts of humanity are your gifts, our gifts, to help all of us discover the deepest meaning, the true essence of our talent and our lives. These gifts are here to make us help make sense of things, to ensure that we question and examine with open minds the strongly held assumptions and opinions that we have defended. All of us will find from time to time, if we are honest and if we explore this with open minds, that in some areas it is quite possible that we have been woefully uninformed. And here, one can do this in a setting where tolerance and respect reside. Harold Bloom is one of Yale's most eminent professors, a world scholar on topics, certainly Shakespeare most notably, and admired and esteemed by colleagues in and out of the profession. Harold Bloom wrote a volume titled, "Where Shall Wisdom Be Found?" Where shall wisdom be found? And that is the prescient question for our students and for us. So to you students, to the new class, to the returning students, we have a new chapter. We get to push the reset button. All of us do. Have the courage to think independently, to think for yourself, to learn how to think creatively, to look for solutions that are not obvious. Never be seduced by information. Seek something deeper so that you understand meaning of the information in that transition and journey to knowledge and subsequently to wisdom. Yale's sons and daughters entrusted some of humankind's treasures to us so that the transcendent qualities of character and mind, of light and truth, or Yale's motto, Lux et Veritas, can live through each of us and can bring hope to our planet. That is our responsibility, and it is our joy. Welcome to Yale and to another year that I know will be spectacular. Thank you.